Hello friends, Veronica Moonlove here with your week 3 for this Shadow Work and Scorpio season spells and rituals. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your patience once more as I am a bit delayed in getting this video to you. I had a fabulous weekend doing a retreat with some girlfriends. Actually a part of a mini moon circle, I suppose you could say, and all of us brought something to the table over the weekend. We did a lot of yoga, a lot of meditation, a lot of Reiki, and I also got to lead my first full ritual, and it was an amazing experience to say the least, and I feel very well rested. I feel very just centered and aligned, and it was an amazing weekend. So here is your sign to go and take a mini retreat with all of your girlfriends. Totally worth it. And yeah, I had a blast, and so that is why I'm getting to you just a little bit later than what I'd like. But let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to get into this week for our shadow work prompt during this Scorpio season. So currently right now we have Mercury, Mars, and the Sun in the sign of Scorpio. We also have Neptune in Pisces. So that is a lot of water energy going on in the celestials right now. So if you've been feeling very in your feels, emotional like me, but also if you've been feeling the need to go inward, then this is the perfect time to do shadow work. And I hope that you're continuing to kind of push through that along with these spells and rituals that I've kind of been leading you through. So this week, I'd like to focus our shadow work on our attachments. Let me go ahead and explain just a little bit further. And I decided I'm going to have a vulnerable moment with you guys. I feel like we've been on this journey for a bit, but I do want to talk about why I felt so inspired to talk about attachment this week in particular based on my own experience. So as you know, I had a fantastic weekend getting to lead ritual for the first time. And I would say that it went very well. There, everything that I wanted to accomplish, we accomplished. It was very moving. It was very powerful. It was very empowering. We got to do it in nature, but there were a little bit of hiccups that happened. I mean, there was a little bit of wind that picked up and sort of caused all the candles that I had displayed to just kind of drip everywhere. So we had this dripping noise throughout the ritual. It wasn't as peaceful as I'd like it to be, or it was a little chilly. It was a lot more chillier than I was expecting it. So I had a lot of, moon sisters that looked like they were freezing their asses off. So, there were just little things that I wasn't satisfied with. And I remember after doing the ritual, everyone came up to me and said how much they loved it. They thought it was powerful. They loved that I was sharing this side of myself with them. But I had a lot of insecurity. I had a lot of just negative feelings towards some of the things that I could not control. And as I've really sat with that and have tried to figure out why that is, I mean, there are a lot of things that I think have led me to feel that way. I think I deal with a lot of perfectionism, unfortunately. I deal with some childhood trauma of being the golden child. There's a lot that kind of goes into that. But one of the biggest things that I think that sort of got me down that negative spiral, woulda, shoulda, coulda, mindset is my attachment style. In this case, I was so attached to having a very specific outcome for this ritual. I needed it to be perfect. I needed it to be A, B, and C, and needed to do this and needed to do that. And because I had this expectation, this attachment to the perfect outcome for this ritual, I, in ways, sort of shot myself in my own foot and didn't really see the magic that we created that night. There were so many wonderful things that happened during the ritual, so many realizations, so many aha moments, and we definitely shared in that very magical energy. But I was so focused on having such a good outcome that I almost, forgot about the magic that we created. And so what I'd like to do today is do a release and receive specifically on attachment styles and how that can impact us, how that can impact our lives, and putting us in negative mindsets or negative places that we don't deserve to be. We don't deserve to be in that mindset. And once again, we're sort of trying to take control of things that are out of our control. I don't control the weather. There's just no way. So how would I have known that the wind would have blown the candle? And how would I have known that it would have been so chilly other than just checking the weather and bringing a jacket, right? So there were several things that were out of my control. And if I can just see that the magic was there regardless and that people enjoyed it regardless, then I kind of take myself away from the attachment of a specific expectation or outcome. And therefore, I am able to see it from a new lens. I'm able to accept what happened that night. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the things we need, and then we'll get into everything. So today you're going to need your journal and your pen. So if you have a shadow work journal, I would definitely utilize this. If it's just a regular journal, so be it. And then you will need a fire-safe cauldron once more. So something that you can utilize to burn something inside. It has to be fire-safe. So if you have a pot, as long as it's fire-safe, should suffice. And then you will need, of course, a lighter or a match, whatever you utilize to ignite a fire. You're also going to need a bay leaf, okay? We're going to be using this for releasing. If you don't have any bay leaves, a piece of paper should suffice. And then, of course, you're going to need a marker to go ahead and mark on your bay leaf. So let's go ahead and get into the journal prompt. So the point of this journal prompt is to really pull back the layers to understand where the attachment comes from. Because the attachment is just a trauma response for something that has happened in the past, in your childhood, something along those lines, okay? So your journal prompt, I want you to think of a past memory, or particularly in your childhood, when was a time that caused you pain in your heart, hurt, to feel hurt? And I mean in the sense of, was there something that caused your feelings to be hurt, or even your ego to be hurt? Embarrassment, things like that. What happened that caused you to feel pain? And then I want you to think about, in that moment, in the past, what did you feel at that time and how did you react? Did you react with anger? Were you mad? Did you react with sadness? Did you start crying? Did you react with maybe you sort of pushed away those feelings and refused to feel your feelings in that time as a defense mechanism? What exactly were you feeling at that time? And then after you have figured out that past memory and after you have figured out how you felt in that moment, I then want you to think of a current event or a recent situation that caused you to react in that same exact manner. And is that correlated to the trauma of your past? Could that have been the root cause of why you are now responding in this way? The reason why you are now expressing this attachment to this specific outcome. And I really want you to spend a lot of time on this. This is going to be kind of a deep one, right? We need to peel back the layers. So once again, let's just go over the prompts just to make it a little bit simple. I want you to think of a past memory or past childhood memory in which it caused you pain. Then I want you to write about how it made you feel. And then I want you to write about a recent event that caused you to react in the same way. Okay, so now that we have our journal prompt and now that you have completed that, let's go ahead and move forward with the spell work. Okay, so before we get into our spell for releasing attachment, I wanted to focus just a little bit more on attachment. So I'm actually currently getting my certification in yoga right now. Super excited to incorporate that into all of these modalities. But there was something that really just struck a chord with me and has really inspired me to go on this journey of shadow work during this week 3 session about attachment. And within the yoga practice, there is something known as the 8 limbs. And within the 8 limbs is a practice known as aparigraha. And this specific practice is the practice of non-attachment. It translates to non-attachment and non-greed. So attachments can be several things. They can be emotions, right? We can be emotionally attached to a toxic relationship, and toxic relationships can be very vast. It can either be with a partner that we're intimate with, or it can also be a friendship or a relationship with a family member. It can also be a attachment to possessions, right? We want specific things in our lives. We want to be surrounded by beautiful things, or we want all the clothes or this or that. And so we get so attached to these things that we put so much of our value into them. And there's also the attachment to outcomes. And the perfect example of that was the example with a ritual, right? I was so attached to the outcome being perfect, that it was going to land and everything was going to be perfect. And so therefore my expectation was so high that I failed to see the magic that was created that night. And I really got into a negative headspace with that. So attachment is the root cause of suffering. And that's really what this practice of aparigraha teaches us, is to let go of our attachments. Let these things go. And let's go ahead and get into the spell work so we can go ahead and start that. Okay, so how does the attachments go into the spell work and also go with our journal prompt? Well, your journal prompt was meant for you to really dig deep into the trauma, the root cause that is causing you to react this way. Because in a way, that is your attachment. So what is something that has happened in your past that has now caused you to react in a specific way? So this is just an example. So let's say that I found that I had childhood trauma with, trust, because I had a parent that never kept their promises. Okay. I had a parent that always told me they were going to do something and they never followed through. And when they continued to not follow through, I felt sad. And I began to react in a very detached way, right? Because after so many times, you kind of become numb. And so you don't even have to actually feel an emotion. It could just be detachment. You just kind of detach yourself from trusting people. And so then something down the road, present day, I'm an adult, the person that I'm, with, doesn't follow through with a promise because something else happened. Life happens. We can't always keep our promises. And then I'm triggered. I'm triggered and I react in a specific way, and I react in a detached style, and I'm like, no, I can't trust this person anymore. That is me holding on and attaching myself to something that happened in the past, and it is now impacting me in the future as an adult with future relationships, right? We need to be able to hold space for people to forgive them. Life happens. We can't always follow through with our promises, but also we need to realize our own attachments that are now impacting us in life and in the future. And so what I'd like you to do is think about something out of the journal prompt that you have realized that you need to let go. You know, I have this journal for my yoga class, and it is so on brand for me. And it has this little Buddha meditating, and it's like really adorable. And it says, let that shit go. Let that shit go, because that is what we're doing today. We are letting go. We're letting the shit go of our attachment styles. What are we holding on to that is now impacting us in our lives as an adult? So that is what we're going to be releasing today. So let's go ahead and get started with the steps. Okay, so step one, you are going to think of a word or a phrase that you can write on your bay leaf, the thing that you are needing to release. So going back to the example of having childhood trauma of a parent not following through with their promises, that is obviously the root cause. That is the thing that I'm holding on to. That's the thing that I am attached to. And so what I wrote on the leaf is unkept promises. That is what I am releasing, because that is what I am attached to. And that is the story that I keep telling myself that I now associate as bad. So I'm going to release unkept promises. And then step two, you're going to go ahead and take your lighter, and you're going to say the following. With this bay leaf, I release blank. Okay, so in this case, unkept promises, so mote it be. All right, it's going to look a little something like this. With this bay leaf, I release unkept promises, so mote it be. Okay, so if your bay leaf, remember, once again, if it doesn't burn down all the way, don't take it as a bad sign. It's just science at the end of the day. And what I'd like you to do is go ahead and set that aside, because I now have a little something special that I am going to do for the first time today. So we've done our journal prompt, we've done our mini spell to release, and now I want to focus on healing those wounds inside of us, those past traumas. And what I'm going to do today is actually send you Reiki energy. I'm actually certified in Reiki 1 and 2. And I am so excited to really delve deep into that and help you heal those wounds. Now, what is Reiki? Well, it's basically life force energy that everybody has within inside of themselves. I actually won't be doing much of anything except for helping you activate that part of yourself. But Reiki energy is within every person, and everyone is able to heal themselves. Now, you might feel some sensations. You could feel coldness, you could feel heat, you could feel tingling, you could feel pulsing in the third eye. You could even see colors while you are in sort of this meditation. So there are going to be several things that you could experience, but essentially what I'm doing is opening up these centers for you to heal yourself, to heal those past wounds, to heal this trauma that has kept you in this attachment style, this sort of prisoner-like attachment style. And so that is what we're going to conclude this week for rituals and spells in Scorpio season. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with a Reiki meditation. I plan on doing it just for a few minutes. It's not going to be a full session. We'll spend about 5 minutes concluding this. But I'd like you to get in a comfortable position, either sitting up or lying down. So whatever works for you, feel free to do that. You don't have to watch me. I will be keeping my eyes shut to give you the Reiki healing and connecting with your energy. This is known as distance Reiki healing. And I just really want you to concentrate on what I'm saying. So I'll kind of walk you through it, how to get set up, but then I want you to just breathe in and out. And then I'll go ahead and conclude the Reiki session once we're done with that, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to get this music going. This is a Hertz meditation for self-healing, so we'll go ahead and start with that. Now, we really want you to concentrate on just relaxing, okay? So go ahead and close your eyes. Now I want you to start taking some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now I want you to place your hands together and we're going to start connecting energy, okay? And I want you to imagine a bright white light coming from your abdomen. You'll feel it pulsating just a few inches below the belly button. This is where our Reiki activates. And I want you to feel that pulsing in and out. Continue to breathe deeply, going 7 seconds in through your nose and 7 seconds out through your mouth. And as you are breathing in and out, you may start to feel some sensations in your body. This is the Reiki activating. It is healing those attachment styles. It is healing those traumas from your past. It is healing the pain that this situation has caused you. And it is healing those new wounds that it has also created. Now I want you to continue breathing as your palms are together near your heart chakra. And I'm going to go ahead and activate the self-healing distance Reiki. Now I want you to slowly wiggle your toes. Start becoming aware of your body, breathing in and breathing out through the nose and out your mouth. 2 more deep breaths in and out. 1 more deep breath through the nose and out your mouth. And I want you to slowly open your eyes until you become completely in your body. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the music. And that concludes our healing Reiki session for this trauma and this attachment style that we keep holding on to. And I want to thank you so much for joining me this week and for your patience as I get this video out to you. Let me know if you enjoyed the Reiki session. We can definitely do more of these. I can just specifically do Reiki moving forward if you want these to be like a separate session. This is the first time I've ever done it live, or on a video. But yeah, let me know what you think. Of course, if you have any questions about witchcraft or things for substitution, whatever you'd like to see, please feel free to comment and like and follow. You can also follow me on other social media platforms. On Instagram, Veronica_Moonlove, and then on TikTok, Veronica__Moonlove. But with that said, I want to thank you so much for joining me again, and I will see you for week 4 of our shadow work for this Scorpio season, spells and rituals. Have a wonderful day, friends.